Coming to you from Tradingology.com's trading room for February 11th. So good to see you guys. And looks like we have Tom in the house. So good morning, Tom, and good morning, Dave, our great friend and partner in crime from Strong Market.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, Tom. Wow, graced us with his presence this morning. And of course, Andre, always a pleasure. BD, good morning. Kyle, Mark.
Yeah, good to see you.
And yes. Oh, Tom didn't hear my comment. He's still connecting to audio.
Apparently Tom's Zoom is a little slow. I think, Tom being the super tech guy, and he'll appreciate this if he goes back and listens to the recording since he can't hear us right now, is he has the fun issues with technical stuff. So I can feel his pain because he's in the IT industry as well. It's like, I think it attacks. It's kind of like the plumber's sink that leaks.
Yes, Thomas, I mentioned that it's always a pleasure to see your dog and his ball. Tom has to keep a little bit of anonymity here because, he's in high security IT work. Who knows who he works for? Who knows?
He's part of the people that are listening, so watch out. I kid.
Anyway, all right, what do we got today, Dan? What's going on?
Check this out, Dave. We saw this yesterday, and I just saw it happen again today. Let me zoom in on this chart so you guys can see it a little bit better. Yeah, he's sending the black helicopters. Watch out. All right, let's maximize the Dow here. Yesterday, everybody knows that was paying attention. We saw a big drop in the morning, right? Wouldn't it be nice if you could have a little warning sign that was going to happen? Well, look at our friendly neighborhood market timer XLBLP indicator right here where I'm zeroing in. The opening candle right at 8:30 Central, 9:30, we had a bull trap signal right here with these arrows in between the first and the last column. That is an indication of a potential bull trap. 15 minutes later, it dropped like a brick.
Yep, it trapped the bulls.
Same thing just happened this morning. This one was the second candle. Right after this one closed, we just dropped another 100 points on the Dow. So pay attention to these. They're easy to miss if you're not watching for them. So that's why they're colored in the red. And it worked on both indexes, obviously. Since this is based on the New York Stock Exchange, we see it shows up on the Dow, and it shows up over here on this SPX chart. And everybody knows, the huge drop. We did not see one on the NDX, but we did see one bearish herding come into play. Not that was a huge signal, but that was just it went a long way. But that was what I wanted to call it, was the bull traps that were showing up in real time. So that is a perfect morning indicator. We've seen it time and time again. There's one more time that it played out. So I don't know if you caught it, but it's always interesting to see that work out. And then we see this morning, what's our market doing here? Because we had our famous Thursday jobs claims, and guess what? It's worse than they expected this time. But we're still floating around that 800,000 every week. They had a forecast of 755. Last week was 812. Oh, now we're at 793, so now we're red. But wait, this week it's pandemic, Claims are worse than expected. Stores closing. It drives me nuts.
Yeah, actually, there was a headline, and I took a screen capture. Let me see what it says here. Because they tried to, they spun it positive. They said 793,000 Americans filed new unemployment claims for the week ended February 6th. The results were more than expected of 760,000, but at a 5-week low.
What? What was their last spend, but on a 5-week?
Yeah, no, it's a 5-week low though.
Oh, geez. It's just ridiculous.
So yeah, it's insane. 800,000 people a week are being, hey, I'll give them, 1% plus or minus, right?
Well, at least I almost fell off my chair when I was listening to Powell speak yesterday. I think it was yesterday, where he actually said that real unemployment's actually closer to 10 or at 10%. I'm like, wow, he actually said that out loud.
Yeah, he also said it's going to take a lot longer to recover than a lot of people expect. So he's kind of like, oh, he's starting to tell the truth again.
Yeah. And it was interesting to hear the commentators talk about, well, if we were doing this after, I'm not even thinking about raising rates. That's not even a thought in our head.
Well, our friend Stephen Van Meter did a video the other day, and they do have on the Federal Reserve's website that they're anticipating tightening in 2022. So there's a little bit of a conflict there. He's saying, no, they're not going to do anything until 2025, but the website is saying they're going to tighten in 2022.
I'd love to see him try.
That's about.
I'd love to see him try.
Yeah. Just like December of 2018, right?
Holy cow. That's all, that's going to be a mess. I mean, they need to, but they can't figure it out because they propped up way too much.
Yeah, well, there is no bond market anymore because everybody, right now, the Federal Reserve is 42% of the GDP. 42% of GDP. There is no production. There is no productivity in the United States anymore. It's all going towards, buying of bonds. And there is no bond market because they're buying them all. Right. Everything is issued, they get.
Yeah, that was the other part. He said still another 80 billion every month, right? We're going to continue to buy mortgage-backed securities, treasuries at a same clip. So
yeah, it's unbelievable. And when they have ones that expire and roll over, they just buy more.
And to check in, we did.
Oh, the banks are also buying short-term bills. This is another good thing that Stephen Van Meter mentioned just before you continue here.
Sure.
Interesting point is that as you deposit money, which a lot of people are doing, they're trying to boost up their savings and they're not really spending money. It's all in their checking account. It's a liability to the bank, right? And so in order to offset their balance sheet, they need to go out and buy short-term securities as collateral to those assets or to that liability. So they owe you money because you deposited money in there. They have to go out and buy short-term bills in order to have some sort of collateral, liquid collateral, in case there's a lot of redemptions. So I thought that was an interesting point, and that's why the short-term bills are being bought up by banks.
Yeah, speaking of the short term, look, there's a quick arbitrage between 1 and 2 months.
Ooh.
It's inverted.
Ooh. I wish I had a couple $1 billion.
And we saw that 30-year getting close to 2. It got to 197. That's as close as they let it get 6 days ago on the 5th.
Yep. Bought some calls on TLT. Working out nice. I knew they wouldn't let it get it over 2%. That'd be a disaster. So TLT's on its way up.
What was the other one we got left? So yeah, we got the 30-year auction. We'll see how that comes out at noon.
That's all the Fed buying. Fed loves those long-term bonds.
Yep. So we'll see how they affect it there, if that changes up or down or not. And as we always just like to see, internals did start coming up, but at the same time that bull trap kicked in, internals ripped down. But now we're hovering right around 500. So unlike yesterday, where it was a literal roller coaster, we started above 1500. We dropped to negative 500 in less than an hour. That's a massive drop. That's when it turned out to be the fake out, like Dave likes to call it, then came right back in, and Mr. Government was the savior again and bailed everybody out. One of these times, it's not going to stop.
Yeah, we got spaghetti on the Excel. I mean, it's just all over the place today.
Yeah,
it's been like that for a while.
It's like a broken oscilloscope.
Yeah, it's just crazy. You can see how it winds around each other. I used to call it the market DNA. For you guys who've been with me for about 10 years or so.
Yep.
And I got a notice from this guy in California who was an investment advisor. He registered Market DNA as a trademark. So he sent me a cease and desist letter. So I had to change it to Market Timer Excel. But he's now out of business. So it didn't do him any good.
He got his one jab in, so he felt
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
All right, you guys are quiet. Any questions floating out there? We got Tom, Kyle,
Let's
Mark,
take a look at the
Andre.
spreadsheet. Let's take a look at the spreadsheet because we had a discussion about that yesterday.
Oh yeah, good call.
When we
Bring
were
that over here.
chatting. I don't know if it's going to happen again, but scroll back to June 28th, 2020. And when we get clusters of bullish herding like this, how many days is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 days, I would say, of good clustering there. Right after that, boom, what happened on the 9th? But we had 3 days of some pretty weak action in the S&P and the Dow, good 2,400 point drop. And now if we look where we are right now, we've got a bunch of clustering going on. And so I'm not going to, I don't know if the same thing is going to happen or not, but certainly yesterday, after yesterday's kind of sharp drop out of nowhere, the potential is there because everybody's on one side of the boat. Remember when we talked about, I mean, we've had a lot of bullish herding here since the beginning of the year. I mean, go back, Jesus, there's like a lot of bullish herding. We've had very little bearish herding. They've all ended up orphans. And so this is like, you can see that one section there between 1.5 and 1.19 is one section. Then a little quiet. And boom, we come out again here and we've got another section, which is just even more bullish and the ABS stays high.
Yeah, we had 2 days only and 4 days total. Maybe, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 days only in the whole month so far, or in the whole year so far, where it's been below 1,500. And yesterday it jumped right back up. And important note here too is the first 2 columns are now minus the bearish, or excuse me, the bullish herding. So that's
and you were up. Yeah, we were up yesterday too. In the day, yesterday 61 points, and
so that's going away. The flow ticked up 1, and I do see we had a double top on the buy sell over here. So that's an important one that I'm keeping an eye on. Is this double 15?
Yep, absolutely.
BD says other people are modeling and calling for the high this week, and then a decline into March and a rally into May. He's just calling the roller coaster. Yeah, Steven's definitely discussing those extreme number of calls. Everyone is, there's zero. I don't think I might be the only one that's bought a put. Dave might be the second person.
Yeah, I think we're probably in the minority here. That's for sure, because everybody's on the bullish side of this market. And hey, they might be right. Who knows? But what happens if they're wrong?
There's nothing wrong with having some protection. It doesn't mean we're not making money buying things at the same time. Just because we're short some protection things, that's just smart thinking, if you ask me.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to be long and short, I think, in various things. I did get into a stock this morning, SOS, just full disclosure. I noticed this morning, in fact, there was a pre-market on Benzinga, and those guys are pretty good. I like those guys. And somebody in the chat typed in SOS. And so I did some research. I went to Yahoo, and a couple days ago, some of their accredited investors in SOS ended up exercising some warrants, and they generated about $78 million. And in their statement, they said that they're going to use it to start mining Bitcoin. So it didn't really move too much over the last couple of days. So I didn't see it until this morning, and I picked it up and I started buying it around $4.33. So I'm in it at the moment. It could be another Mara. You guys know from the real-time update service that I was into Mara really early when it was like,
Dave, we don't want to go back to that. Don't bring that up.
Do you know what that is now? It's like $40 or something. Oh my God.
Yeah, it broke 40. Between that and the other one that we were in for a short time, at least I was in this one for a short time because I could. Is Riot.
Yeah.
I think I saw down here at like 8.
Yeah, so just SOS could be another Mara. Just saying. I might hold on to this one this time.
It's tough to argue with when you're selling at 100% profits and you've doubled your money. It's like, sweet, double the money. That's awesome. Then it does that. It's like, seriously?
Yeah, I know.
Could have told me.
Yeah, I know.
Where's the indicator that tells that's been going to be from $2 down here?
Yeah.
A 45?
46.
Well, this might be the day. Speaking of this one, is let's take a look. Do I even have it on this one? I think I had the chart open somewhere. Oh yeah, the other one that you called. Let me slide over to my blockchain. Our good friends Vet are making a nice move. That one that you called in the beginning of the year.
Yep, my number one pick in my cryptocurrency report forecast for the year. I like Vet a lot. I think that could move. XLM has surprised me. It's moved quite a bit too. XLM, I didn't even mention in the report, but it actually did move a lot. The first time I bought XLM was at 8 cents. Now it's at 45. You kind of wonder, with the cryptocurrencies going up and penny stocks, is there a relationship? I mean, penny stocks have just exploded, right?
Yeah, it's a relationship with all the extra funds that people have available to them, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think they have time on their hands. They have money, and they don't know what to do, so they're sitting at home day trading.
And it's easy to get into the cheap ones. It's a lot harder to do that with an Amazon or anything that's $100, Microsoft.
Right.
They don't want to use their $600 on 2 stocks. They want to use their $600 on thousands of stocks.
Right.
I think that's part of it.
That
it might not be true, but I think it's fueling part of it.
And I also think they want a lottery ticket. They see everybody else trying to make money with GME, and then now it's carrying over to a lot of different kinds of
right.
stocks. Oh my gosh, it's hard to find a stock now that was under $1 anymore that hasn't moved up dramatically. I was listening to this one guy, and I can't remember the name of the stock right now, but he when he brought up the chart, it said 0, 0, 0, 0, and now it's like 3 cents. I mean,
wow.
It must have been like 4 or 5 digits. It's just unbelievable. Just unbelievable.
Andre's asking, but you can't even trade XRP. Well, not in the United States, you can't. This is a big world.
Yeah.
Only the US is the ones that can't trade XRP, Andre. Anybody else that has access to a platform can trade it. Anybody international outside of the US is still in there. So anybody that's opening an account in different parts of the world too, for that matter, how people get away with things these days.
Yeah.
We might see 50,000 in Bitcoin today. We'll see. It's just about to touch 48 for another all-time high. 48.5 looks like.
And I don't know if you saw the tweet I sent out about the CEO of BitMEX.
I did not catch that one, I don't think.
I can't think of his name now. It's right on the tip of my tongue. But anyway, he's in hiding in Asia because the FTC or the CFTC and the SEC are after him with a warrant.
Imagine that.
He did not follow AML KYC.
I did see an article on that.
Yeah, and so they arrested his partner here in the United States, and he's out on $5 million bail, and they're still trying to find him. And but what's interesting about it is they tried to exclude everyone from the United States from trading on BitMEX, but thousands. They said almost 60% of their trading was done by U.S. citizens who were using VPNs to get around it.
Yeah, so, I believe it.
Just crazy, right?
BD's asking if you have a target for VET, and Andre's asking if in general trading. I'm personally not trading cryptos. I don't have time anymore. I'm so busy with everything else. I've literally run out of, you can only watch and only do so many things at the end of the day. And I'm successful in what I'm doing, so I'm not jumping back into cryptos personally. Would you have a target for vet there if we maximize that guy?
I did. I had a target of 5 cents, which we're getting really close to it at this point.
Yeah,
I had a target for 5 cents on the year.
Well, it's just like I saw Sven, the target for the SPX of 4,000. We're already almost there 6 weeks into the year.
Oh, we are. We only got 85 points to go.
Yeah.
I mean, jeez.
So there's your nickel target, BD, if you're playing vet. Not a recommendation, you know the drill, but that's
those I mean, everything up to 5 cents. So if you think about it, 5's an important number, 10's an important number, right? Because you got 5 fingers in your hand. All of those are psychological numbers. If it hits 5 cents, I guarantee you can tape this, write it down, put it on your computer, and record the statement. 5 cents is going to be resistance. It might touch it for a second and then drop. So just a heads up. I would bet money on that.
Because there's a whole pile of sell orders sitting there. We're just waiting for it to touch it.
Oh yeah. Oh, they're drooling.
Anybody that's in that thing sub penny, a half a penny, they're gonna get out at a nickel.
Yeah.
For sure. Look at where this used to be down here. I mean, a quarter of a penny. And that's just less than a year.
I had disclosure. I had 5 million vet at a penny. 1.1 cents. 1.1 cents. I sold it at 1.8. I always sell too early. I did that with SNDL. I did it with the vet. I had a million XLM at 8 cents. A million. And I sold it. What was it? I think it when it hit 17 or 20, between 17 and 20 cents.
Yeah, because it did this, they look good at the time.
Yeah.
It might run into resistance. Hey, it's going back down.
Yeah, it's going down. It's going to stay that way for a couple of years. But I told the story. I related the story to Dan. I had a terrible experience with a exchange. This exchange, I had placed it. I was trading. I got out at my XLM, but I was trading it. And I had 100,000, and it went up, and I sold it. Or at least I thought I did. Down in the corner, in this little window, it gives you the confirmations of your buys and sells. And I saw that I had a confirmation that I sold it, but I didn't have the USD back in my balance, and my balance kept dropping and dropping and dropping because I sold it pretty close to the high, and XLM started going down a penny at a time. I went down 5 cents. I was down $5 grand. I said, wait a minute, I sold this. I refreshed the page. I went back, and I didn't see the confirmations anymore. I said, what is going on here? So I contacted XLM support, or the exchange's support, about this XLM trade. And I took screenshots of the confirmations, because every time I refreshed the page, the confirmations would show up. I refreshed it again, they disappear. And 6 hours later, just before they emailed me, they said, oh, there's no problem. Everything looks normal on our side. So I checked my account, and everything was restored. The USD was restored at the prices I sold them at. And so it was, it was a little scary, actually. And I said that, I'd rather be on a regulated exchange than trade cryptocurrencies at this point. I pretty much had it with crypto trading.
Well, yeah, and we know all these new crypto exchanges are just what they say. They're new. How many years have they been around? And all these new apps that everyone uses, APIs. Yeah, APIs are great for things that work in technology, making things communicate with other things. So you don't have to actually have someone click and do things, where the APIs, people that don't understand it, it's like Greek and I understand. So it's just, think of an API as a way for one machine to talk to another one, and they just share data, whether it's a command to do something like a buy or sell via an API. So if those fail, because these are new pieces of software, you're either not filled or you're traded and executed in the first place. So, and I can't even count how many different mini brokerage apps are out there now. Yeah, it's great. They want to give it to the retail investor, but the the brokers that have been around for a long time have been doing this just that a long time. They have, thick client platforms where you're actually installing and connecting to things. So just, yeah, they are nice, but understand what you are using. There is potential for problems if you're relying on your app to do what you need it to do, especially when we start talking high velocity and high frequency, and all these masses are suddenly trying to execute, and you get data feed issues. Your order might get dropped on the floor because of too many connections.
Yeah.
So
that kind of freaked me out. I decided to stop trading crypto completely. Now, if I do, I may get into crypto again, but not at these prices. I think prices are going to decline quite a bit, but I'm not going to get in at these prices. But if I do get into crypto again, it's going to be, put it on my ledger or whatever. But I'm definitely not trading it.
It'll be a PayPal or something. So you mentioned Sundial. We'll show that out to close the discussion here. We have a few traders that still leveraged it. I, like you, got out early because I saw profits and I said, that's perfect. So if anyone's in here, you may want to think about taking your profits, because if you haven't seen, hold on to your chair.
Shout out to Josh, who did a fantastic trade, held on to 290. I mean, that was great. 250, 290 got out.
This thing almost hit $5 overnight.
Yeah, completely reversed. Unbelievable. We were in at 50 cents, 60 cents.
Yeah, I think 66 was my dollar cost average, and I got out at $1.20 when this spike happened. So I'm like, doubled my money. I'm happy. Then it does this.
I got out earlier than you, but I also traded a little bit. But insane. So
that's one heck of a pick to start the year out. So we're picking some good winners. So I like that. So thank you, Dave, for finding some of these golden nuggets and gems.
Yeah, it's been fun. SOS is my current top pick. I have a couple INPX I was in. I got into a couple weeks ago. That's starting to move now. That's up really nicely. There's a couple others I'm keeping my eye on. Nothing. All the other picks, I'm really doing research on commodity stocks, commodities, commodity companies, mining companies, real stuff. Commodities, soybeans,
things you can hold,
corn, real things. Because I do believe that there's going to be an issue in the future with we're going to have a major problem, and commodities have been out of favor for so long. If you guys are in the Wealth Masterclass, you know that, and I think they're really going to make a huge comeback, and the market's starting to drop. All right, we got to go.
You guys have a great week. It's been awesome, or have a great weekend, I should say, and we'll catch you next Tuesday back here. As always, hit us up on emails if you got questions, need help, support@tradingology.com. We're happy to help. So have a great week, guys. We'll see you next time.
Take care, guys. Good job there, BD. Exiting your crypto at 25% of the time. Nice. All right.
Good man.
See you then.